What up, IDS Mob? Welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show. I'm your host, as always, Harry Wilmington. This is the place where you can go to learn how to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about decoding women, what she says versus what she means. And I want to talk about this because I had a few people as of late either leave comments or write me questions whereby they're going through situations where women were talking to them about something and said certain things, but then their actions indicated that they felt some other kind of way and were possibly blowing them off or had other thoughts. And this is a thing that men really get confused about because men, we are very logical. And when we hear things, we take the actual words being said as these are what those words actually mean because we're very logic based. And it's not to say women don't have logic, but they filter their logic through emotion. And so a lot of times what women will do is they will want to say a thing, but they're taking into account how you're going to feel about that thing being said. And they don't want to say words that are going to automatically hurt your feelings. So sometimes they'll say things hoping that it's enough of a soft blow to where you'll hopefully get the hint as to what they actually mean and be able to handle it. And as men, you need to know that. You need to know that just because women say certain things, it doesn't mean that the words that they're saying means the words that she's actually saying. You have to really filter about what could the potential emotion be behind that, or maybe there's some actual logical reason that they're saying a thing versus meaning a thing based on their experience. And so we're going to go over that by going over a few comments that either have been left on videos of mine or situations that have been written to me to figure out by men who are in my Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy. And by the way, like always, this show is brought to you by the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy. If you go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, you can sign up for a free 2-day trial. But this gives you all the ins and outs of things you need to learn and how to be in order to effectively attract the women that you want and be able to date them. And as you can see, we have a bunch of programs that are within the Dating Academy. We have the Top Secret Dating Blueprint, which walks you through the 3 months, what you need to be doing during the first 3 months of dating to solidify your relationship. And of course, pertinent to today's show, we have a 7-part audio series here called Stop Miscommunicating with Women, the 7-part series. And it goes into the various areas that men oftentimes are confused about when women are trying to communicate with them, and how to better connect with women by knowing how they communicate, what they mean when they say things, when they do things, why they act the way they do. So you'll be better positioned to make women feel as though you understand them and want to stick around a lot longer. All right. So that you can get all this, again, you have access to all these great programs at introvertdatingsuccess.com. Again, sign up for a free 2-day trial. If you like it, we'd love to have you on board. Also, you can go to the website to sign up for one-on-one coaching. So if you really want to get some in-depth conversations with me about situations you're going through and how you can be helped, then you can sign up for one-on-one coaching at the website as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get into a comment that was left on one of my dating videos. And it's a guy that's very, very frustrated about all the rules and all the things that you have to do in order to get women. And he's very frustrated by it, which I can understand. At the point when I started really learning about dating, but also about really how women best communicate, how their minds work and how they think about dating, and also why all the things that I was doing that I thought was right actually don't work. Initially, there was a lot of frustration there. And in the dating community, they call it red pill rage, because it's basically like when the matrix is open. Like you are in the matrix dating right now, thinking you got to do certain things and be a certain way, and it's not working, and you don't understand why. And then you get a little hint of what women actually need from you in order to be able to feel connected. And it's like everything that you thought you knew as a guy is wrong. And hearing that for the first time is absolutely frustrating, because you're like, but I've acquired all these skills over my entire life that are supposed to help me get women, and I'm finding out it's a complete sham and I got to like start all over. This is frustrating. And it's a thing all you guys are going to go through. All right. I went through it too. So understand that that's going to be part of the process. And from reading this guy's comment, I can tell that he's going through that process now. So let's go ahead and read his comment. So the comment he left is, all these stupid, it's long, so I'm gonna stop in parts. He says, all these stupid rules with don't text too much, don't text too little. It is such a stupid world. No wonder most relationships can't survive. Like, I'm sick and tired of these games. Look at the entire beginning of his sentence. Quote, if you do too much, she loses attraction. And he is absolutely right. Like, girl, go get someone who cares less and then cry to your girlfriends about it and how you wished he would do more. So this is a common complaint that I hear from guys about how, the whole, well, if you do too much for her, then she's going to lose attraction. And they only want these guys that don't really care about them, yada, yada, yada. And this is where it's important to understand the process of how dating and attraction works for women. Because it's not that you doing too much is going to turn women off. It's that you doing too much early in the process when she hasn't feel like she's earned it yet is where women start to feel a little like odd about that, because a woman that has a good head on her shoulders and recognizes that she is going to be part of the partnership also understands that during the dating phase, she needs to actually be doing her part for you. So that way you can really see that she's actually the right person for you. And what a lot of guys in women's eyes, what a lot of men are doing is after 1 or 2 dates, deciding to just give them the entire world. But that's an unsafe thing for women to feel, that a guy's just going to automatically give her the world, because what if she's not the right person? Has she vetted to see if maybe she's a user and abuser? Like, women are going through the process of doing their due diligence, because in their world, choosing a guy too soon could be potentially dangerous. So they're not going to be able to understand how is it you're able to make a full assessment on a woman after 1 or 2 dates and decide, I'm going to just now give her the world. And so it becomes very uncomfortable for women. Also, real talk, guys, women have had the experience of gaslighting, of a guy coming in too soon and trying to give her the world and appearing as though he's too good to be true. And then come to find out, like 3 or 4 months in, that's actually the case. He actually was gaslighting her. He actually was being nice as a way to potentially use her. And so women are coming from that vantage point of, I need to be more careful. I need to make sure this guy really is who he says he is. So when you go in and try to give her the world and do all this stuff for her, you're thinking it's from the goodness of your heart. You're thinking it's because you already feel like she's worthy of this. And that puts a woman on edge. So it's not that you need to treat a woman like crap. And it's not that you need to not do anything for her whatsoever, but it's just in the beginning, what you need to be doing for her is very lightweight. For example, you asking her on dates and paying for it. That's enough. Early on in the dating process, that's enough for her to feel like you're not trying to use her, because you're applying monetary investment into spending time with her. And so she can get just from that you probably like her. You're taking her on dates and you're spending time. You probably have an interest in her, but you trying to, like take her on a date and then pay for her dress and her manicure and trying to like throw money at her for gas money and then trying to like get her these gifts and flowers and stuff. That now seems like, to women, you have another agenda going on. Like, you're trying to get her to be the girlfriend way too fast. But why is that? Are you trying to just use her for sex? Are you just so desperate and needy that you want to try to claim somebody as your own? So that way you can say you have somebody and it doesn't matter who it actually is. Do you care if it's her that you date versus just anybody that'll come along and say yes? And so this is the box that you're putting yourself in when you're trying to do absolutely too much. And as guys, we're doers. We show our love to women and our like for them through doing a lot. So we can't understand why women will be turned off when we're just doing and doing and doing. And that's why. But continuing with this guy's comment, he says, I get where it's coming from. Something which is easy to get has less value. We all know that isn't always true. And some people literally miss out on the best relationships of their lives because of this stupid mindset. So his problem is, he's seeing this mindset in women as stupid, and he's not taking into account the experience that women have had when they have attempted to actually date guys who showed a lot of interest and a lot of action towards them way too fast. And that puts women in the danger zone. So as men, you can't look at dating all the time through your lens and say, well, this is how I see dating, and this is what I'm trying to do, and she should just accept it. You have to also look at what's her experience been. What's her experience been with guys that have tried to give her the world so fast? And then what happened when the bottom came out from under all that, And so also to this guy, what this guy's saying, it might not always be true, but for the majority of women, when it comes too easy, there's usually punishment behind that. All right. And also he says something which is easy has less value. It's not that something that's easy has less value. It's that something that is too easy it's not proven. And also, and this is what guys can take into account too, is that when it's too easy, it can become very, very boring. Now, a lot of men will think like, well, why should a woman want to challenge me? Why should I be mysterious? She shouldn't have to work for me. Like, that's so stupid and dumb. And I thought about this morning when putting together this show, okay? I want you to think about it like a video game, all right? Think about, like, say, Mario. My favorite game is Mario. So let's think like Mario Brothers. It could be Mario Brothers 3. It could be Mario Odyssey, whatever, right? So think about these two different experiences, right? You get the game, you open the box, and from the jump, you have no idea what's going on. So you get the controls in hand. Nintendo's very good at having these early levels where you can kind of feel out how you're supposed to do certain jumps and runs and stuff. And then you get the feel of it. And then you go on the adventure. And through the course of it, you're trying to find stars. You're trying to beat levels. And you don't always know what's going to happen. You don't know, where that next secret box is that has a star in it. You don't possibly know how to beat the bosses yet. You got to, in fact, oftentimes go through bosses multiple times before you finally get the pattern that you need to do in order to actually beat the boss. But the point is, it could take you realistically like a month or 2 months to beat a new game that you haven't played before, right? But part of the fun in that is not knowing. It's being able to figure out the ins and outs of it, try to figure out where to go, what to do, who to talk to in the game, what power-ups you need, and all this other stuff. Now think about the experience of you get the new Mario game, but it also comes with a player's guide that tells you every single box you need to hit, where the bosses are, how to beat them, where the warp whistles are to be able to warp to other levels, so you can actually bypass a bunch of the levels. Like in Mario 3, if you figured it out right, you could literally get the warp whistles in the first level and like pass through level 1 to go to level 4, and then get the other whistle in level 4 to go to level 8. And then you could, if you have all those super power-ups and whatnot, or the secret codes or the Game Genie back in the day that could give you like all the power-ups, you could literally just fly through all the levels and get to Bowser. You have the player's guide on you and how to beat him. And so with all that, you could beat the game in like a day. Like realistically, you could beat the game in a whole day. Now, of these two things, which one is actually more fun? The one where you don't necessarily have the complete guide, but you're able to just kind of like go on your journey, or the one where you're basically being given every single thing that you would ever need to be able to beat this game effectively? More often than not, you're probably going to say, well, if I beat it in a day, yeah, it was cool, but now this game's, I don't want to play it anymore. Like I got everything I needed to beat it. So this is how women are experiencing dating. The reality is they don't, if you throw every single thing at them that you have in your arsenal, you're going to, pay money for them to do everything they want to do. You're going to tell them, how much you love them and care for them. You're going to give them all these gifts, this and that, off of like 2 or 3 dates. You've effectively given her the player's guide to your heart. And I got news for you, dude. That gets boring really fast, really quick. And so you may be losing out on women simply because you're not understanding that for women, part of the fun of dating is the journey of dating. It's the, okay, what do I need to do to impress this guy enough to maybe get more of his time? It's like if you're a guy that likes to text a woman back and forth every single day, I got news for you. She's going to start to like lose interest and pull away because she knows subconsciously she has not done anything to earn that much attention from you yet. Even the ones that complain early on about, well, I want you to text me more, yada, yada, yada. What she's saying is, I don't know how to get you to text me more because I don't know what I need to do to actually earn all that attention. That doesn't mean you necessarily do that, by the way. And I'll talk about that in a future video. But the point is, yeah, like you giving them the complete player's guide to your heart and then just giving them all the stuff they need is not going to make her want to stick around. So this is why you need to be more patient, and you need to not be that guy that's like, well, I'm going to make it super easy for her to fall for me. I'm going to just tell her right off the bat that I care for her, that I can see a future together with her. None of that is going to make her want to stay around. If anything, it's going to scare her off to another guy who's not telling her all that stuff, where she's not completely sure of what he actually wants and is therefore going to actually do everything she needs to do on her end to work for his attention, to work for his heart. Because women understand that it's a two-way street. Just like she's hoping you're going to do things to win her heart, smart women that aren't just in this for the money or looks or whatever, and they're actually trying to build a relationship, are going to recognize that they need to do their part too. And when you don't allow them the ability to have to actually work to earn your affection, then yeah, she's going to lose interest quick. So you got to know that going in. Continuing, this guy says you can't have it all. Either he cares or he doesn't. Like, what the F is this? Are you looking for the best actor or the best partner? Now, I get what he's saying here, because as a man, if again, we are looking for results very quickly. And we're looking to just not, quote unquote, beat around the bush and be able to just tell a girl, hey, I like you, I care for you, I want to take you out or do X, Y, and Z. So when you hear things like be more patient, hold back a little bit, it's going to feel like you're acting or playing a part, which to you may feel disingenuous. And that's understandable because you have not been in the habit or practice of being able to be a little bit patient and hold back before you just give a woman the entire world, okay? But understand just like how you are now is up to this point based on years of habits that you've done. Recognize those can be very, very bad habits. So you've been just that guy that's going to go out right away and say, hey, I care for you and I want to give you the world and give you gifts and yada, yada, yada. That's a bad habit that you developed. If you start working on better habits in dating, then those habits will soon become a natural part of who you are, and then you won't be acting. So like me at 40 right now, I don't have this need to have to talk to women on the phone every single day, text her all the time, to have to call her up every single moment of the day, to have to try to give her these gifts or to give her unending compliments, because based on the habits that I've developed and the dating life that I've experienced, I now know that those things are not necessary to attract women. Back in my early 20s, you couldn't have told me that. I'd have been like, but no, you got to like at least give her flowers. And you got to, even if she's not, texting you back, you got to check up on her to make sure that she knows that you like her, yes, and that. I was of the same mindset, and then come to find out, like, none of that stuff was real. None of that stuff worked. Me over texting a woman caused her to, run away a lot faster versus me being the guy now that only texts to ask for dates. They might give the impression that they're frustrated, but they stay around longer. They work harder to get to the point where I want to text them more. And so based on my current habits, I know that I don't need to be that guy that's there all the time. But at the same token, I'm not doing anything that indicates I don't care. You're still going to be asking them on dates. You're still going to be making them laugh and showing them a good time when you take them out. You're going to still be giving them ideally bomb hookups that make them feel like you're the best lover they've ever had. So you can still show that you care for a woman. But again, early on, you're doing it in bites, like very small bite sizes. So you taking her out, making her laugh, paying for the meal, that's bite size. A woman can handle that. You trying to do all that, but also trying to overly touch her on these dates and tell her she's the most beautiful thing ever and that you can already see yourself and her getting together and having children. Now you're overextending the care you're trying to show. And it's a thing where you have to know how she's going to best take in affection and you showing care. If you're showing care in your way, in a manner that's not going to be beneficial or effective to her, then you're not really doing a caring action. You have to take into consideration how women early on are going to take this stuff in. And if you're not, you're just looking at, well, I want to do it the way I want to do it, and that's the best way, then you're not showing a caring action that's beneficial to what she actually needs on her attraction and dating journey to want to ultimately end up with you. Continuing, he says, I would much rather spend time with a girl who is actually fighting for me than a girl who is trying to hold back. We are grown-ups acting like children on a grown-up topic. But again, you have to ask the question of, for one, you want a woman that's going to fight for you, but is that earned behavior? After 2 or 3 dates, a woman is still doing her due diligence on you. It takes a woman 2 to 3 months to solidify her feelings. She's not going to feel like fighting for you after a month of dating, because she's still trying to figure out if you're the guy she even wants to be with. And the problem that you may be having is that you're thinking after 2 or 3 dates, you're already down to darn near die for this woman. She hasn't asked for that, but you're feeling like, I already care enough about her to want to give her the entire world. And because she's not there yet, you're getting mad at her because she's not willing to, quote unquote, fight for you. And she doesn't even know if she wants to be your girlfriend yet. So that's why you got to scale it back and not be so gung-ho on, if we have a few good dates, I'm already going to be down for her. No, because and this is what I try to stress also to you, guy, is that the problem a lot of guys have is after 2 or 3 dates, they'll say, yep, I'm choosing her. And then 3 months down the line, they start to realize, oh, wait, there's some serious red flags here. And now you as the guy got to try to break it off. And that can be a very, very hard position to be in. So this is why, just like she's taking her time, you need to take your time. And what you'll find is, as you take your time dating, women within the span of like 2 to 2.5 months will start coming to you, asking you all the things. Things like, hey, are you seeing anybody else? Hey, so I want to take you out on a date. Hey, so what are we? Hey, so what do you think about me? And it's better for her to come to you and ask those questions than for you to go to her. Because if you do it, you're going to do it too soon. She's going to start feeling like, oh, I'm not at the same place that he's at. and she's going to leave. More often than not, men typically get to the place faster than women do about choosing this other person as our potential partner. So you have to know that you're going to be feeling like strong feelings for her after 2 or 3 dates, which could be like 2 or 3 weeks in, right? And you have to like practice, again, building good dating habits. You have to practice telling yourself, just because I'm already feeling as though I'm there doesn't mean that she's there yet. So as long as she's still showing up for dates, you have to just understand that she's still building it up. As long as she's not being flaky and she's showing up for dates, dude, you're still good. And I think a lot of times us men, we think that we need to have the full validation of her being our girlfriend in order to not think she's going to go away, or that if we don't lock it down right away, she's going to potentially find somebody else and then be out. I'm telling you guys, if you just regularly, once or twice a week, ask her on a date, show her a good time, have a few good hookups, and just be consistent. Part of women building attraction to you is you being able to show how consistent you are in your actions. So as she's able to see more consistency from you over those 2 to 3 months, it'll quickly solidify her feelings for you to where she will have no doubt of her feelings for you. But you trying to ask 2 or 3 dates in, she's still trying to figure out, she's going to have doubts, and more often than not, she's going to say, this isn't right for me now. So learn to be on her time with that, okay? But yeah, once women get to the point where they like have solidified their feelings, that's where they'll happily fight to keep you. Continuing, he says, to be brutally honest, every single woman simply deserves what she gets by choosing her partners like this. Why choose the guy who is already proving to you he is willing to go the extra mile over the guy who doesn't care at all? Oh yeah, because the latter dude is harder to get, which means he's more valuable, just like any other object. So again, I want to stress that the guy who is not going the extra mile, that does not mean that he doesn't care at all, okay? What that means is he's a smart guy that probably got burned in the past by going too fast and recognizes that there's wisdom to being a guy that is more patient with women and allowing her to go through the natural journey that she needs to go through to build up an attraction that she's going to feel is authentic versus one that is forced on her. So you coming in and being the kind, cool, caring guy after 2 or 3 dates and trying to offer up like all your services and trying to like, be there for her all the time, that's the guy that she's going to feel like, wait, this is a little shady. Nobody is this deserving of this much love so early on and of this much attention. I need to back off. And also, like I said to you guys before, like you trying to just show all this stuff, it feels too forceful to her. It feels like you're forcing her to feel things for you, where if she's not all the way there yet, it's going to make her brain think, why is he forcing me to make this decision about us right now? Like there must be some kind of hidden agenda going on. I don't like this. And so I'm out. All right. So be mindful of that. And then he says, when exactly will men address the issue that we are the ones getting treated like an object? They are treating us the same way. They don't want to be treated themselves. And again, that's just not true. Like, and to be fair, on both sides of things, we could admittedly be treated like objects. Like we could be treated like money objects, like affection objects, just like we can treat women as like sex objects or playthings or whatever. But I'm trying to stress, women that are legitimately trying to get into a relationship and are trying to find the right partner, they're not trying to rush the process. And so if you feel as though you're being used because you went on 2 or 3 dates and then you try to ask her to be the girlfriend and she's like, well, I don't think that's a good idea yet, and now you're butthurt about it, that's on you, guy. You need to learn what women's process is. That's why I have a whole program called the Introvert Dating Success Academy, because we talk about things like this. We talk about what a woman's attraction journey looks like and the 3-month process you need to go through in order to really build a perfection. And it's right here, the Top Secret Dating Blueprint. We talk about things like effective phone etiquette, analyzing the first date so you know where her feelings stand, what to do on that second date, milestones that signal relationship progression. Because if you're not trying to rush the process and you just kind of lay back a little bit, what you'll start to see is that you'll hit certain markers with the woman during that 3-month dating process that'll let you know where her attraction level is at and how she's thinking about you and at what point she's actually ready to get into the relationship. But the problem is you guys are so focused on where you're at in your dating process and your dating journey, you're not looking at, but wait, where's she at that's going to give me a better chance at actually getting into a relationship? If you're not doing that, then you're seriously shooting yourself in the foot. And it's not fair to her, and it's not fair to you, because what I don't want you to do is forever be in the situation like this guy is, where it's like, well, women are just playing games and they don't know what they want, yada, yada. No. Women kind of know what they want. And when women first start dating you, They're always in this land of maybe. Maybe I'll date him. Maybe I won't. It really depends on what action she shows me, what kind of dates he takes me on, how he talks to me, how he treats me. And I need time to assess all that before I decide, yes, I want to be in a relationship with this guy. But if you're getting butthurt after 2 or 3 dates because you're already there and she's not, you're not understanding that she needs time to really assess all these things and to see consistent behavior from you to make sure that you are who you say you are and you're the guy she wants to get with. So just be more patient, guys, and you'll start to get the kind of dating lifestyle that you truly want. So that was that guy. So now we're going to go over some comments that I got. So when you're in the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy, one of the things that I allow for is unlimited email responses from me. So you write me with a problem and I'll be happy to respond back within 24 to 48 hours to really help you get a better assessment of the situation. Because I know if you're going through something, you want an answer like right now. And so that's part of what you get as a perk for being in the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy, which again, you can join at introvertdatingsuccess.com. By the way, guys, this is interactive. So if you guys have any questions you want me to answer just in general about the dating process or about women in general while this live stream is going, you can leave a comment in the chat. If you're watching this on Instagram, same thing. You can leave a comment in the chat and I'll get to it at some point during this live broadcast. All right. But anyway, so now let's get into these guys' situations. So this first guy with the situation, he was dating this woman for a long time, and then she started acting funny. She went on a trip and started texting him some stuff about like trying not to basically cheat on him, but like getting exhausted by having to do it. And it's quite the situation. I was fascinated by this guy. And so we went back and forth over the chat, and I'll just kind of go into what that situation is. So here's his message. He said, "Hello, sir. I need your help. My girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years, but she said she is exhausted of the relationship, but not me." So when I read that, we're not even done with the message. Right off the bat, when I read that, he's trying to understand the words that she's saying and what she means. But when she said she's exhausted of the relationship, but not me, what she meant was she's exhausted of him. Specifically, what he's been doing in the relationship that's causing her to have these doubts, and it's causing her to kind of be tired of their interaction. All right. But she didn't say it like that because, again, oftentimes women are going to try to, if they have a grievance with you, they're going to say things that are in hopes of lessening the blow, but they're hoping at the same time that you'll understand what they really mean. So when she said she's exhausted of the relationship, but not of you, she really meant that it's him. And as men, our egos want to try to believe the words women are saying because we're thinking we're such great guys that there'd be no way she'd have an actual grievance with us. Yes, she might have a grievance with the situation, but definitely not with us. But if you're part of the situation, then that means part of the grievance is also to you. So continuing his message, he said, and so she said she's exhausted of the relationship, but not me. And she had a crush on one of her classmates, but she resisted herself perfectly for months. I told this guy at the point where she told him that she had a crush on somebody else, dead in the water. Because women that have a high interest in you or are continuing to like you and want to be in a relationship aren't going to tell you that they have a crush on somebody else. But this is what I don't know if this is necessarily the definition of breadcrumbing, but this is one of those things where women will start to kind of lay down small bites of things that will let you know early on that there's going to be an exit at some point. So her saying, well, I'm exhausted of a relationship, but it's not you. And I have a crush on somebody, but I've been holding off. These are the little nuggets she's putting in that are supposed to let you know I'm starting to lose interest and I'm slowly starting to creep away. And I'm going to do it in such a slow way. In her head, she's thinking, I'm going to do it in such a slow way that by the time it happens, he won't be shocked and it'll be less shocking. Therefore, it won't hurt as much when I finally do it. All right. So continuing, he says, 10 days ago, she went on a class trip and at night, she texted me that she is feeling really exhausted of resisting herself and she just can't do it anymore. And she broke up with me. Well, yeah. But again, exhausted of the relationship, crush on classmates. And now all of a sudden she's tired of having to hold back her ability to not see these other guys. And so she's going to gracefully bow out and hope that he's accepting of it. And so his reaction, then she says, but then the next day, she cried on the call and said she doesn't want to let go of me. Well, she may be giving these crocodile tears, but again, this is also a way for her to not feel bad about herself, because now what happens is the fact that she told you all this stuff, now she comes back and says, oh, we should be together, blah, blah, blah. She can hear from you, well, you already said you're interested in other people, so I'm out of here. And now the breakup is your fault and not her fault. So it's a very interesting strategy that this woman's using, but like, this is a thing that can happen quite often. So he said, I hung up and said that go do whatever you want to do. You wanted to be single, and now you are, which I think is a great response. I think, when women start saying these things like, oh, I'm having a crush on other people, and it's not respectful to the relationship. And then her saying, I'm just tired of not screwing other guys, basically. Like, at that point, you have a disloyal woman. You do not want to stay with women that are going to do actions that allow them to be disloyal. All right. But look at what this woman did next. So he says, after 2 days of our breakup, she made out with the same guy that she was crushing on and developed some infatuation for him. Well, yeah. So what she did was the whole, I'm going to break up. Now that we're technically broken up, I can do whatever, and then I'll come back to him. Now, I have done videos on this channel about how I did a video called My Ex Had Sex During Our Break, right? And so that's those. But in those videos, I'm talking about situations where you guys broke up and legitimately it looked like you guys were never going to get back together. And then, like, a few weeks or months down the line, she may come back and say, I made a mistake, yada, yada, yada. This woman, this is not the situation I'm talking about, where this woman broke up with this dude, made out with him, and then 5 days later calls back, I want to take you back. Oh my God. So he says, after 5 days, she's calling me and is regretting everything. Should I take her back? And so she went on this trip and she said, I want to bang dudes on this trip. So I'm going to break up with him. So now it's technically a breakup. I'm going to do my thing. And then this guy's ideally enough of a simp to where he'll take me back when I call a few days later and say, actually, I want you back. I got to experience this guy. I got my rocks off, whatever. And now I want you back. Now, to have him tell it, it was just a makeout session. And he says, on the side note, she is one of those two honest individuals who would share every intrusive thought with me. So he's saying this because what his thought is that it wasn't that his thought is that they just made out. Like, she would not be the kind of person to lie to him. And if they were to do more than just making out, she'd have no problem telling him. And continuing on, we'll get to, yeah. So continuing on, I said to him, it sounds like she broke up with you so that she could sleep with this other guy without feeling the guilt of cheating on you, which is a common tactic. And then he said, she avoided him and guys in general too much to avoid intrusive thoughts. And I said, that's at least what she told you. And then he said, well, that's one thing I know is that she's too honest. So again, he's been made to believe that she's so honest with him all the time that she would never lie about potentially hooking up with somebody. And guys, this is a very important lesson that just as a man, you need to understand, all right, is that women will lie. Like, a woman that comes to you and says she's the most honest person ever and she would never do a certain thing or act a certain way, they will totally do that. How many of you have had the situation where women will tell you, well, if I ever lose interest in you, I'm not one of those women that would ghost you. I would just tell you to your face that I'm no longer interested, and that would be that. And then fast forward to, she starts pulling away a little bit. She's not answering back as fast. She stops accepting dates. And you say, hey, if you're no longer interested, you could just tell me. And her response is what? Oh, no, I'm still interested. No, it's not that. I'm just busy and yada, yada, yada. And then the next time you text her, crickets. So that woman that told you she would never just ghost you and she would never, ever be the one to just walk away and not tell you, ends up doing exactly that. Why? Because again, she's filtering the logic of that scenario through her emotion. In the moment when she's talking to you, it's easy to say, well, I mean, logically, why would I just leave you? I would just tell you that I don't want to see you because it would hurt my feelings if you did that to me. But when the moment comes for that to actually happen, she's looking at, if I tell him to his face that I no longer desire him, he's going to probably think that, it's not just me, but that all girls don't desire him. And I'm just another girl that's breaking his heart and feelings. And you know what? I don't actually want to see that. I don't want to see him go through that or potentially start crying or whatever. So I'm going to do the thing that I said I would never do, which is like kind of ghost him and hope he gets the point. So women will lie. All right. So especially when it comes to things like hooking up, do you really think a woman is logically going to come to you if she's trying to get you back and say, hey, by the way, I wanted you back, but also that guy I made out with, yeah, I totally hooked up with him all the way. Like, that's just a thing that's not going to happen. So recognize that as well-meaning as women are in the moment when they tell you they're not going to ever lie to you or ever walk away from you without telling or this and that women will totally do that. And you as a man cannot be so naive to think that just because a woman's saying, I would never lie to you about a hookup, that she wouldn't lie about a hookup. She absolutely would lie about a hookup. They know that it hits at our ego when we hear about other guys that they hooked up with. So they're probably going to lie about it. And then he asked the question, but isn't it common to develop infatuation towards someone else when you're in a long-term relationship? And my response to that was a woman who cares so much that she said, I said, women who really like you in long-term relationships don't get infatuated with other men. My example of that is my dad died in 1991. So he's been dead for it'll be 32 years coming next year, right? My mom still gushes over him to this day. She has not dated anybody else. She has not thought about trying to hook with other people. And like, I don't ask mom these questions. I'm not trying to figure out her, hookup life or whatever. That's none of my business. I mean, A, she's in the church, so she's just being very religious, but also like she just had such an undying love for my dad. Like we still have conversations now as if he's still here about how much he cared about her and how much she cared about him and how she really admired him. And so it's not to say that realistically, if you date a woman and you die, that she can't find somebody else. But it's the idea that when a woman is head over heels in love with you, when she has like a 90 to 95% interest, all her thoughts are going to be around you. I've dated women who have like waited years and years and years between when we dated and when we met up again that were like, I didn't do anything with anybody. Like, that's the kind of woman you want to find that's going to be loyal to you. So if you're just in the dating phase and she's already talking about, well, I'm having crushes on other guys, I want to hook up with other people, I can't seem to hold myself back from that. That's not a woman that has high interest. That's a woman that's happy to have you around as a boyfriend because she likes the idea of feeling wanted. But in terms of you, it could be you or anybody else. And you don't want that. So no, yes. And it's not to say that even in a long-term relationship, she might not find other men potentially attractive. But when she makes a commitment to you, she's not trying to break that commitment. She's not trying to talk about, hey, this other guy is really cute and attractive, and I wish I could do some stuff with him. Like, that's not conversations that women that are highly interested are going to give to you, because they understand also that that kind of conversation could potentially chase you away. And if she sees you as a guy that she really cares about and admires, she's not going to want to risk that by telling you that kind of stuff. It just doesn't happen. All right. So yeah. So this is an example of like, this guy had a lot of delusions going on based on this woman. And he even says she had OCD. And this is why she tells me every single intrusive thought that she would get. So he's trying to say, because she has OCD, she can't possibly lie. People with OCD can lie. All right. So then he said, what if I really want to give it another shot? I don't think I will have problems with trusting her, but can this work out somehow? And I told him, ultimately, the choice is yours to make. If you're asking me if it can work, my experience tells me no. Once trust is breached in this particular way, it's really hard to keep it going. And I said, plus, and I can't stress this enough, there are plenty of other women out there who would never do this. So yeah, I talked about it on the show before, whether you're the one breaking the trust or she's the one breaking the trust, once that trust barrier is broken, as well-meaning as you guys are going to try to make it to be a thing where you can get past that, you can try to work back to a level of trust. It's like if you had 100% trust in her before, at the point where she does something like this, it's going to probably go down to like 85%, which means there's always going to be 15% doubt that she's telling you the truth when she goes out, that she's not, when she said she's meeting up with a guy who's just a friend, that it's not really that, or that they could potentially get together and then make out. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I made up with somebody else again. Like, it's really, really hard. So guys, this is why on your end of things as a guy, you got to work at making sure you're doing things actively to keep the trust in the relationship. Because trust me, I know from my experience, I've been the guy that has done untrustworthy stuff, and it is really hard to get a woman back to a place where she's going to trust you and feel safe. But the same goes the other way. I've been in situations where women that I was with did something untrustworthy. I was like, oh crap, you know what? This relationship now has an asterisk to it, and I don't like living in the land of asterisks, so I'm out, So yeah, in this guy's situation, this goes back to the stuff she was saying. She's saying one thing, but she's actually masking it because she doesn't want to hurt this guy's feelings and tell him the full truth. So the whole thing about, I just made out with a guy while we were broken up for 5 days and I could do whatever I wanted to. She's saying that, but is that what she actually did? He's not there to verify it. So he's trying to go on her word. But again, from personal experience, she probably did other stuff. So that was that guy. Then there was another guy that I talked to. Again, In the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy, you have unlimited email access to me when you're going through a situation. So this guy, his situation was this. He says, bro, I'm stuck in a situation. Can I have some advice? I've been friends with a girl for 10 years. And recently, she began talking about us in a relationship and possibly sleeping together. But every time we get close, she pulls away and goes ghost for 2 days. But now she told me that she is taking a break from WhatsApp for a while. But we still talk on Instagram, but I give her space. So I message her at least twice for the week. And last Friday, I told her I would message her this Monday, and she hasn't replied to me since. So he wanted some advice from that situation. So here's the thing, right? To start off with, this is a situation you may encounter where you talking to a woman, you're friends with her or whatever, and then one day she's just like, I could see us in a relationship, or I could even see us possibly hooking up and having a good time. So what will happen is this. You may hear that and think, I'm in. She's saying she wants a relationship, so that means that we're going to have a relationship like right now. Nope. This is the okie doke, because because here's the thing. Oftentimes, when women have thoughts going on in their head, they feel like they can just be open and just share that thought. It doesn't necessarily have to mean anything. It could just mean in the moment she had a thought, you're really close to her and she wants to share it. Now, what most guys will do is when they hear this kind of thing, they'll jump on the band. They'll just start thinking these thoughts of like, oh, I'm going to be in a relationship. Oh, I can see this is that. And they'll make the mistake of trying to now, because she brought up potentially a future with them in a relationship or sleeping together, that now it's okay for him to bring it up and for him to talk about it and for him to think, I can now start planning out how that's going to look. Guy, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, because even if she's talking about it is one thing, actions are another. If she's talking to you in a way where it's like, we could be in a relationship, blah, 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 but she's not making actions towards that, then it's nothing. So for example, she says, oh, I can see us sleeping together. Okay, great. But if you invite her over and take her to the bedroom, are things actually popping off? If not, then that was just talk. It was just, oh, I had a dream one time where we slept together, and that's it. Also, you got to look at when women bring these things up, what is your actions as a result of that? Because what I find most men do is they'll start doing this thing where, because she said that, now they're going to start doing the things you shouldn't be doing: over texting, over calling, trying to add in their own innuendos of stuff. And those are actions that can early on turn a woman off. I don't care if you've known this woman for 10, 20, 30 years. The start of a friendship is different than the start of a potential relationship talk. If she's bringing in, hey, I think we could be in a relationship, that now restarts. So you can't think that, well, we have 10 years of friendship, so we can just jump into a relationship. No, you can't. You still got to go through that 3 months of vetting. You still got to go. It's going to be a little bit easier because she knows you more, but this is the point where you can try to start making things happen, but you can't be over-verbalizing or trying to suddenly get into boyfriend mode, because again, no actions have actually happened to indicate she's realistically trying to go down that road. So what do you do when she's saying, I can see this in a relationship, blah, 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 blah? Well, you can start to get flirty and be like, oh, really? Interesting. Okay. So like, you trying to do this now? What? Like crap or get off the pot, man. Like real talk. She's talking about it. You start get some alcohol together and, try to start making some moves. But again, you don't have to over verbalize stuff like that. And also don't try to do things like, I'm going to now take you out on dates and this and that. No, if she's talking about it, you guys been hanging out as friends, it's very easy to invite her over one day and set the lights down low, get the wine out, and start making those moves that you'd make on girls that you're dating. And that'll be the true test to see if she's actually about what she says. If you're making those moves, she starts getting weird, well then yeah. So he says they started to get close, and she'd pull away. So I have to wonder what that actually means. Are you inviting her back to the house? Are you actually trying to make those moves? Are you being the guy that's like, going in and making the moves without trying to ask her? Or are you trying to say, hey, is it okay if I kiss you now? Can I like hug you now? Can I do this and that? If you're doing that, that's going to be a really big turnoff, at which point, yeah, you're probably going to lose her interest really quickly, So that was that guy's situation. And then this other guy, he said he had a situation where he wanted a couple of dates with these women, and they're complaining about how much he's texting them in terms of not texting them much at all, which I advise you guys to do. So he says, hey, I was wondering if you could answer this question or make a video about it. Girl A sent this text to me after our second date, and I'm not sure if I should text her more, like she's asking. Girl B, I've had one date with, and I noticed after she didn't hear from me for 3 hours, she was checking in to make sure I was okay. Not sure if I should give in to texting them like they want me to, or stick with just one date per week each. So for the first girl, here's the text. He said the text said she sent him a text saying, "Do you think you could get better at texting? I know you said you're not good at it, but I feel like if you like me ish, you should maybe try. I don't know." His response was, "I can try, LOL, but I'm more of an in-person dude," which I thought was a great response. And she said, "That's understandable. I just overthink. So then I overthink that you're not interested when you text like that." And so this is an example of what happens when you apply patience to your dating game, is that women will start to be the ones that are unsure if you like them, versus the other way when you're trying to over text them, over call them, over invite them out, and they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're ready to give them the world, and it starts to freak them out, right? Now, what I said to this guy, though, I said, because with this other situation where he's like, the girl texts after 3 hours and checked to make sure that he was okay. And he's now worried about, well, does this mean I should text them more, or should I text them more than like they want me to, or just keep sticking to like only texting once or twice a week? So first of all, what I tell you is this, is that the reason you're waiting between dates to text them is to get a better gauge on where their interest is. So for example, let's say after the first date, you wait 4 or 5 days before you text them to ask them out on a date, right? And they say yes to the date. So, okay, there was like 65, 70% interest there because she didn't try to contact you during the week, but she still said yes to the date. You go on that second date, you give a good night kiss, you hook up or whatever, and then you put it in your head to wait another 4 to 5 days before you call her or text her again. Well, what will happen is, let's say you're waiting that 4 or 5 days. During that time frame, you hear from her after like day 2, like, "Hey, just want to let you know I had a good time on that date again. I hope I get to see you some more." So now what's happened is that her interest is now increased to like 75 or 80% because she had a really good time on those 2 dates. She's probably been out with these other guys that haven't shown her nearly as good of a time. But more importantly, those other guys that she's gone out with have been bombarding her phone with texts and calls, and she's feeling pressured from them, but not from you. And so therefore, you're the one that she's thinking about. And so what will happen, what I find is this: as you become a more patient dater, you're going to get more messages like this. You're going to get more messages where women are saying, "Hey, so do you think you could text me more? I'm not sure if you like me when you don't text me," because they're used to using guys texting them as a barometer to see if the guy's interested or not. But if you'll notice, she's not dating those guys anymore because texting too much and calling too much is a turnoff, no matter how much women try to deny that it is not. And so as you're more patient with your dating game, you'll start to have women will be like, "I'm not too sure if he likes me or not," or you'll be on a date and they'll be like, "So like, are you seeing anybody else? So I just kind of want to know where your head's at. Like, do you really like me? Do you care for me? Because I'm not sure." By the way, they ask this in spite of the fact that you're spending your time, effort, and energy with them when you could be spending it with other people. But that's how women engage. It's like, if they're not actively hearing from you or feeling that they're getting enough words from you that indicate that you like them, then despite all your actions, and by the way, you want to be showing your like through actions in part because it allows women to, on some subconscious level, recognize that you're putting in effort. So you probably like them, but when you're not verbalizing it, they're still like, "But I don't know at what level." And it's that part. It's the part where they don't know the level of like that you have that's going to keep them engaged and keep them wanting to like try to work for your interest. Okay. And so when women bring this up, what the mistake you don't want to make is be like, "Well, she said she wants me to text her more, so I'm going to text her more because I need her to really know that I like her and feel better about this whole thing." No. You ain't got to do that. No, because this is also what I call a subconscious crap test. Okay. A subconscious crap test is where women will say or do things that, unbeknownst to them in the moment, they're not trying to test you, but depending on what your response is, it now turns into a test. So for example, with this, right? She says, "Hey, I wish you would text me more." Well, in the moment, that's not a test. But at the point you say, oh, "I'm so sorry, princess, I'm going to text you more." Now in her head, it's like, wait, so I just asked him to do some stuff and he just does it off the bat. Interesting. I wonder if he's one of those guys that's like a doormat to walk over. You know what? I'm going to make some other requests, some of which are going to be kind of ridiculous, and see just how he responds to it. And so she'll request something else ridiculous and you'll acquiesce to it. And then by like that third or fourth thing, she's like, "Okay, clearly this guy's a guy can walk all over. I got him under the palm of my hand. He's pretty easy. And I'm out." And you're sitting there like, what's going on? I did what she wanted. I was texting more. I was being more there for her. I was getting her gifts like she wanted me to. And now she's not dating me anymore. What the heck's going on? And so when women give you this test of, "I need you to text me more or call me more," This guy, in my opinion, responded perfectly. I can try, but I'm more of an in-person dude. The other ways you can respond, again, you want to treat this is a good barometer for you to know that she likes you a lot, but this is also a time for you to be playful with your responses, because you can say stuff like, oh, we've only been out a couple times and you're already like obsessed with me. Oh, whoa, slow this down. Whoa, don't try to put a ring on me right away, LOL. Or you can say stuff like, well, I was going to try to plan our next date, but if you'd rather be like texting pen pals, that's cool also, LOL. Like, the point is, when she's making the request, women are going to always look at you to lead the relationship and lead the emotions and feelings of how this is supposed to go in terms of the interactions, right? So how you respond to this is going to determine how she feels about it. So look at this guy. He said, I can try, but I'm more of an in-person dude. He said, LOL. So at that point, she says, oh, I guess that's understandable. So he passed. He didn't fall for her emotions and what they could potentially mean. He just looked at it like, well, you want me to text more? I mean, that's great, but that's not really what I do. And she went along with this program. Okay, I totally get it. I just want to make sure that you still like me. And that's really why women are requesting this, because they're saying they want you to text more. But what they actually mean is, I don't know where his like for me is, and I just want to make sure that I'm still in his roster potentially of women that he's trying to choose for. Okay. And that's a great place to be. You want women feeling that they don't all the way have you, like they partially have you, because it's early in the dating process. So she logically on some level knows that she shouldn't have all your attention just yet, but she doesn't want it to be completely gone. And so they'll make these kind of requests sometimes thinking that, if you start texting more, then they'll feel validated in your like for them. But oftentimes women aren't aware that the things they're requesting could actually cause them to be turned off. And so you as the guy have to know that requests like this can actually turn them off if you acquiesce to them. Because as I've said in this program many times, texting kills attraction. You use texting specifically to set up dates. Also, if women in that, so let's say go back to like the example of like, you wait in between dates to contact her, right? At the point that she reaches out to you, then it's totally fine to respond back to her, to even have a little bit of banter, but you don't want to do it for too long. So she hits you up saying, hey, handsome, just wanted to see how your day's going. You can text back, oh, hey, beautiful, it's going fine. I'm just, out here working, doing whatever. How's your day going? She responds back, oh, I'm doing good. Just, wanted to hear from you because I've really been thinking about you and blah, 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 blah. At which point you now go into planning the next date. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad to hear from you. Hey, you know what? I got a free day on Tuesday and Thursday at this time. Let me know if you're free. Because again, all she wants to know is that she's still in the running for your affection. That's why she's saying she wants you to text more. But what she really wants to know is when she's going to see you again and have an interaction with you again. And in-person interactions are the best ones to have, not this texting crap, okay? So don't think you have to bend to a woman's will when she says, I wish you would text me more, especially in that first 3 months of dating. Now, when you're in a relationship, that's different. At that point, you got her, you guys are dating, you have solidified titles, and if she texts you a bit more and you text her back, fantastic. But even then, you as the guy should only be like initiating like 30% of texting. She should be initiating the texting situation 70% of the time, because it's going to be better for her to overtext you than for you to overtext her, because it's going to always feel like it's too much. And it just gives this needy vibe that just women don't gel with, regardless of how often they say, you should text me a lot more. All right. So hopefully, guys, this has been beneficial. Hopefully you get a little bit more of an understanding about what women mean when they say the things that they're saying. And if you want more guidance, again, sign up for the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy. Hold on a second. Let's see, get that page up real quick here. Let's see, it's on this one. Okay, you there? There we go. Yes. So yeah, sign up for the Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy. Again, you get a free 2-day trial for signing up, but it's got hours upon hours of information that is chock full of great ways for you to be able to attract women as your authentic introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. And you can still be your authentic self. You're not trying to be like an extrovert and stuff like that. I spent a lot of years putting together all the audios and videos in this program. So it's definitely worth you checking out. And yeah, hopefully it'll be able to get you on the path towards the dating life that you want. Also, if you want one-on-one coaching, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the coaching tab. And lastly, if this information has been helpful and you want to show your support, my Cash App is right here at Harry Wilmington. You can click on the tip jar tab at the website. You can also, if you're watching this on YouTube, just go to the comments below or click on the thing that opens up what this show's about, and you can leave a thank you there as well. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'll be back with some more lives later this week, but for now, I am out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.